News 9 Live. I am Krishna Kumar and I'm going to get you all the latest on the eagerly awaited Pushpa 2. The countdown to the grand release of Pushpa 2, The Rule, has begun. Just 3 days, less than 3 days to go. The makers of this much awaited blockbuster are sparing no efforts to ensure the buzz reaches a fever pitch this evening. All eyes are on the mega event, the pre-release event for Pushpa 2 at the police grounds in Yousufguda in Hyderabad. Superstar, icon star Allu Arjun, who returns as Pushpa Raj, is joined by Rashmika Mandanna, the lead actress of the film, for this pre-release event. So much so, the Hyderabad Police issued a traffic advisory expecting a large turnout, and these traffic restrictions are in place from 4 p.m. Today till 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. today for a good 6 hours. Directed by Sukumar, Pushpa 2 takes us deeper into the thrilling rise of Pushpa Raj as the kingpin of the red sandalwood empire. With a staggering production budget of 400 to 500 crore rupees, it ranks among the most expensive Indian films ever made and has expectations of becoming the highest earning Indian film as well. The excitement is already evident. Advance bookings are breaking records already, surpassing recent hits like Gadar 2 and Animal. And industry insiders are abuzz with predictions of Pushpa 2 joining the 1,000 crore rupees club, giving even Bahubali 2 a run for its money. The team has been on an electrifying promotional tour, lighting up cities like Patna, where the roadshows began, then to Chennai, Kochi and Mumbai, with trailer and song launches that fans can't seem to get enough of. The question is, will Pushpa 2, The Rule, rewrite box office history? All signs pointing to a yes, but we will know when the movie hits the screens on the 5th of December, this Thursday. We have a couple of very special guests joining us on this broadcast. But before that, take a look at these live visuals coming to you straight from Hyderabad, where a mega pre-release event for Pushpa 2, The Rule, is being held just because of these massive crowds. There are traffic restrictions in place in Hyderabad. So if you are in Hyderabad, it's better to get the latest updates from the traffic police over there on which routes to avoid. This event of Pushpa 2 in Hyderabad is being called the Wildfire Jatara. And it is commencing as we speak. It was supposed to begin at 6 p.m. in the evening. We have Priyanka Sinha Jha, columnist and film critic, joining us on this podcast. We also have Mr. Girish Wankhede, film trade analyst, joining us on this broadcast. Thank you both of you for taking time out to be with us. Before I come to you, Priyanka, let me discuss the numbers with Girish. Girish, talk to us. These are gargantuan expectations. The only way you can put this as far as Pushpa 2 is concerned. Pushpa 1 was a 100 crore rupee Hindi box office hit. Net collections of 100 crore rupees was Pushpa 1. Pushpa 2 needs to do 5 times that if it wants to be a 1,000 crore rupee movie.
Yeah, it is, because there is no bigger film than Pushpa 2 in this year. Right now, if you see the excitement, we thought, only I'm talking about Hindi now, so it would be 55 crores, 60 crores on the very first day. But as we come towards the climax, that is towards the advance booking, as I saw the humongous response of advance booking, I can see that the first day of only Hindi will not be less than 75 to 80 crores, and that will be the biggest number ever, because not only in Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, in every language across the country, the buzz is tremendous. The advance booking which opened, the top name in advance booking is Telangana, then followed by even in West Bengal, the numbers are amazing. So if you can see the numbers only from Hindi to Tamil to Telugu, all the languages, everybody is going berserk, because it is a solo release. Secondly, there are no films for at least another 2 weeks. So it will have a single film solo run, and the advance booking are already going above the roof. So I think not only in Tamil, Telugu, but in Hindi also it will be able to break all the records.
Wow. Girish, the expectations are for the film to collect 100 crore rupees in all on day one, but if it's going to do around 70 crores in Hindi, that first day number could be double that for whole of India.
Yeah, it will be not less than 200 crores on the very first day.
Wow. Incredible, incredible. We'll continue discussing numbers with you. Let me take this to Priyanka Sinha Jha now. Priyanka, as with any other movie, it's not just Pushpa, as with any sequel, the sequel has to get the sensibility right. It has to get what they did right in the first part. And more importantly, there is an all-important thing called screenplay or script that will determine whether Pushpa 2 continues to soar in the box office post the first weekend and the initial buzz.
Absolutely, Krishna. You've hit the nail on the head. It's very important for a movie to be entertaining and keep the audience glued, and especially when it's like the sequel. But I think Pushpa 2 has got all its necessary elements in place. And as the trailer tells you, that the filmmakers are they're aware of the fact that this is not just a film, this is a brand. And I think they're trying to do justice to it. They've made it like big, larger than life, and the scale at which this film is launching, I've covered Bollywood extensively, and the scale at which this film is launching is far supersedes a lot of Bollywood films in the recent past. And because it's releasing in multiple languages, I think a very interesting thing to watch about Pushpa 2 is also the fact that increasingly we are seeing South Indian films of different languages, which is Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, or Malayalam, take center stage as pan-India films. So will this be one of those pan-India blockbusters is a question on everyone's mind. And I think the massive draw that it had when there was a show around it, a promotional activity in Patna, Bihar, it was, it was crowded, people were excited about it. And that's saying something, because that's like a Hindi speaking belt, right? And the fact that Pushpa 2 and Allu, Arjun and Rashmika, Mandanna as actors, as stars, are crossing over and drawing people to watch their film and being very excited about it, even before it's released, that's saying a lot. And I think this will mark, I won't say it's a new trend, it's been an ongoing thing, but it will definitely cement the position of a lot of South languages film as dominant on box office and as pan-India films.
Right, stay with us, Priyanka. Good that you brought up that point about the fact that the promotions for Pushpa 2 began in Patna. Now, meanwhile, in an exclusive message via the TV9 group, icon star Allu Arjun appealed to fans to go and watch his film Pushpa 2 in the movie screens at the earliest. Listen in.
My movie Pushpa 2, which is releasing on December 5th, it is going to be there running in your city. Please do watch it. Definitely your love and support would mean a lot to me.
Right, Allu Arjun has been busy with one event after another across the country, from Patna to Chennai to Kochi. Girish Wankhede, the way they've promoted this film across cities, and with the way Allu Arjun has gone and connected with we went to Patna, spoke in and said that Pushpa किसी से झुकेगा नहीं, लेकिन आपके सामने आज, आपके प्यार के सामने आज झुक रहा है. From there to speaking in Tamil at the Chennai event when the crowd's going wild, to calling himself Mallu Arjun when he went to Kochi in Kerala. The way they've promoted the film, it's like a textbook that others should learn from.
Exactly, because see, South Indian, especially Tamil, Telugu, they have a practice of doing a big audio launches in their ground activation events, where there is lot of crowd. They do a trailer launch and the music release on the same day, and it is just before the release by 6 to 7 days. So it is their practice. Whereas in Mumbai, when we do the Hindi films, we do a 1 month campaign where we do the trailer launch, then we do city tours and everything. With Pushpa 2, they just created a different level of excitement by doing the ground activation starting from Patna. So that ground activation or the ground event where there were around 2 lakh people, it was just a statement. It was talking about a pan-India release of a mega blockbuster film. And then you go to Chennai and then of course Cochin and everywhere. So the ground activation where they talk to your fans, where they relate to the fans, this is one of the finest way of connecting to your moviegoers. That is one way, and it is an old practice, but doing on that scale and that too in the Hindi heartland by a typical South Indian film, was something which was novel, and it paid. So in totality, when
Even
we say
Bollywood
that
films
it's
go to
a,
Patna. Not even Bollywood films, Hindi films. They don't go to
Yeah.
Patna to launch their film, to launch their promotional campaign for their films.
Exactly, and that was something novel, and it caught the attention. Everybody is talking about it. So these are some things which makes the film stand out. So these on ground activities, this fan engagement, this is something which everybody should learn. As you said, it's like a case study for everybody in film promotion. You do digital, you do media buying through television, everywhere. But ground activation, connecting with your fans is something which is amazing. What Pushpa guys has done.
You know, Girish, while as you were talking, I just got reminded of the fact there's one other film which did this right and absolutely to the point, and that was a film called RRR. And that ended up making, 1,100 crore rupees plus. Priyanka Sinha, it's not just the movies that are being made, and incidentally, both RRR and Pushpa, there are Telugu films. The Telugu film industry is getting something very right when it comes to making pan-India films. They are the ones who are making there have been attempts that have failed as well, but they are the ones consistently making that effort to make a pan-India film. And to make a pan-India film, one is the content that you're making and how rooted you're keeping it, and the other is, taking the film to the audiences, isn't it? Bollywood also does film promotions, but the way these Telugu films, these South Indian films, with the ambitions of being a pan-Indian film, the way they are doing promotions is incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely. The thing is that Bollywood films, they've sort of wooed the multiplex audience in cities, in the bigger cities, urban centers. And so therefore, a lot of the Hindi film viewing audience felt that there was a gap. They were not able to connect to a lot of the content of a lot of these films. And therein the Telugu films have gained the audience, because they're rooted in local culture. They are like sort of a hark back to the films, Hindi films of the 70s and 80s, of the angry young man who takes on the system. He may be on the wrong side of the law, but he's essentially a good guy. You see that prototype hero even in these films. And as we know, like in the 70s and 80s, the angry young man ruled the box office. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was, larger than life, widely followed, had a fan following across the segments. So we are seeing a similar thing in Telugu cinema particularly, and I think people across languages are connecting, and that's no mean feat. That's a huge achievement. And it's not just one thing. They're also sort of tapping into the local milieu, the cultures, the traditions, which perhaps Bollywood is not chasing so much anymore, because they are like sort of covering subjects which are like for a different set of audience, which is more urbane, English speaking, and so on. And so it's interesting to see that vacuum has been kind of filled in by Telugu cinema, and people are loving it. And another thing that one has noticed is that earlier films which were of South Indian languages did have a release across India, but in the Hindi-speaking belts, they were like more muted. You knew that there was a limited release. It was, fewer number of cinema halls, and there was a smaller following. But now they are releasing at par with any mainstream Bollywood film or even a Hollywood film. So exciting times for everyone, and obviously there's going to be like a bit of a power shift when it comes to the top echelon of actors. So it's an interesting space to watch out for.
Absolutely, and as you're talking about, the way these films are released and the how widespread the releases is compared to what they were, limited releases in the past. Girish Wankade, Pushpa 2 is going to release across 12,000 screens, and that's worldwide. Where the US is a very important market, where there are pre-sales of $1.5 million worth of tickets already. There's more, I'm being told. So, the kind of release that Pushpa 2 is getting, that's also setting standards, isn't it? If you want to make a pan-India film, if you are looking at that holy grail of 1,000 crore rupees plus, then that's the kind of release that you're going to need of 12,000 screens odd. Has to be in the top 3 of the widest releases for an Indian film.
Exactly, it is one of the biggest release, and strangely there are so many single screens, multiplexes also, which are opening up with this particular film. Even I run a cinema chain called Cineport Cinema, which is only being inaugurated on 5th because of this film. So there are many single screens, multiplexes, which were waiting for 5th December to happen so that they can open their cinema with this film. So obviously the screen count is huge. It is across the globe. It is one of the biggest releases of recent time. And if you see not only the release, but the excitement of the exhibitors, the distributors, and the film goers alike. Everybody is excited about this, and this was just not a film release. It's like an event, a film event where everybody is waiting. So, if we talk about the first 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will be one of the biggest weekend, opening weekend of recent times, where I can see because of the overseas wide release, I can see the opening day of overseas will be not less than around 70 crores. It is overseas I'm talking. In India, it will be approximately 200 crores. So if I say opening day, it will be pan world. If you say global, it should not be less than 300 crores. So this is the number which we are talking about. So the number is higher because the release is humongous. It's huge. So when you do a release of such a most expensive film, most talked about, most highly anticipated film, obviously you need to have a great distribution strategy, and that is in line with this. So we can see some very different, very mind-blowing numbers with this one.
Okay, Priyanka, I'm sure as you're following the buzz around Pushpa 2, the rule, you must have also seen some people not being quite satisfied with the song Kisik, which is sort of like the replacement for Oo Antawa from the first part. So I'm saying the fact that doesn't even compare. In that sense, the social media, there's a lot of buzz. But the problem is that for Pushpa 2 to match up to the kind of adulation and adoration that Pushpa 1 got is going to be an uphill task, because for a lot of Hindi-speaking audiences, that was the first South Indian film introduction for many of them. Now they've seen so many pan-India South Indian films come and go. So Pushpa 2 is going to find it that much more difficult to hit the sweet spot.
Well, you're right. The expectations are very high, and people have something to compare it to from the first one. So that challenge is always there. But having said that, I would say that Pushpa 2 seems to be set for hitting the sweet spot because, like Girish mentioned, there's a lot of anticipation. It has all the bells and whistles that you expect in a mass entertainer. At least that's what the trailer seems to suggest. And I think people are sort of, they might be a little disappointed maybe if they compare the song that you mentioned. But at the same time, that I don't think that's going to keep the fans away, from watching the film. Another thing that Girish had touched upon, which was an interesting thing, is that, South Indian films in particular and Telugu Tamil films for sure, they have always relied very heavily on single screen theaters, and therefore they are in touch with the sensibility of the audience that goes to these theaters, and which has held them in good stead. And now, when this film releases, I think the content kind of caters to the single screen audience, which contributes to the masses. So despite the small hits and misses that we may spot, I think, I'm sticking my neck out here, but from all the buzz and all the excitement around it, I would venture forth to say that this film Pushpa 2 is going to do great business. However, the challenge for it will be to make profits, because it is a very expensive film. But let's wait and watch. I think it's got a lot going for it.
Right, got a lot going for it, but a good point you mentioned over there. Girish, one last take. It's not in the first Pushpa was a medium budget film. For Telugu, was a big budget film, but it was a medium budget film, so to speak, for a pan-India film. This time around, the budget is anywhere between 400 to 500. That's a lot of money.
I can hear you. Hello.
All right, quickly, the budget is quite high this time around for Pushpa 2, unlike Pushpa 1, which is a medium budget movie, so to speak, for a pan-India film.
Yeah, it is, because the first was so huge success, they always wanted to make it a bigger film. So if they make a film of 400, 450 crores, the most expensive film in this country, obviously they are very much sure about the content. It means they are very confident about their screenplay, about their positioning, about everything what they are doing with the film. Even if the song we are talking about, it is going to grow. So everything is in place because after all, there is a lot of money at stake. And if you are making a film of this strength of say 400 to 450 crores, then you have to be very sure about the excitement, about the charm, about the screenplay, about your actors' visibility, everything. And I think the film will do justice to it. All the expectations which we are putting in, it will meet the expectations. That is what I can see, and it will be able to recover.
Okay, recover and more, do double of what it was made with, to start. But for now, we are completely out of time over here. Girish Vankade, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. And Priyanka Sinha also being with us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, Priyanka, for taking time out to be with us. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. This is Krishna Kumar signing off. Keep watching News 9 Live.
Considered a wonderful product when it was invented. It solved many problems of human lives. We are talking about plastic.
Did you know the plastic in your house is as old as the oldest person in your family?
India almost produces somewhere around 9.3 million metric tons of plastic every year.
It is not dissolving, it is not evaporating, it is not vanishing from sight, it is just breaking down into our soil and ocean. So plastic is just going to be there.
So we need to go back to the questions, we need to go back to the start. When did water bottles come to our consciousness? Why was it marketed like that?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Thank you, Barun Das. I think the entire TV9 team for putting together such a great, fantastic show.
I would like to congratulate TV9 for organizing the first ever News 9 Global Summit, and I'm sure it will be a great success.
It's indeed an immense pleasure and honor for me to be present here in this News 9 Global Summit.
India and Sweden bilateral ties go as far as India's independence.
We have now more than 75 years of diplomatic relations. Green transition is a survival issue for us, for the world, and also for India. Even the small solutions have a big impact. For us, the will to invest in India is already there. India is a country that keeps us busy. The potential is there and we are ready to exploit it. That's actually how you build the cultural bridges.
This is The Diplomat.
The beauty is of leadership being able to acknowledge and flex and mold and inspire and get the best out of their people.
Unfortunately, there's no holy grail. There can be an organization that's the darling of the markets, doing well, delivering results.
If Shakespeare had been there, I think probably he would have written another tragic comedy.
The wages, the work conditions of these white-collared workers is far better and much higher than those of blue-collared workers.
Unfortunately, that is what I believe has deteriorated and deteriorated big time.
There could be regional offices, there could be country-specific offices where the atmosphere is very toxic, and this is reality.
On human narrative of how corporate